Welcome to my channel. Philosophy of Stoicism ever felt like you don't belong to this world, that somehow your life has a greater purpose? If so, maybe you are part of a select group. The chosen ones, the Bible reveals that God sets apart certain people to fulfill a special mission, and these chosen ones have unmistakable mark signs that set them apart from the rest of the world. And here's the most intriguing point. Many don't realize they already have these characteristics, and because of that, they spend much of their lives trying to fit. Hello everyone, today I want to share with you an important truth that every man needs to understand in order to build respect from women. Immediately during my research on female psychology and the factors that drive attraction, I came across a saying that made me rethink everything in where they were never meant to be. Now imagine discovering that you have one of these marks, or maybe all of them. How would that change the way you see the world today? We will reveal what these 7 marks are and how they may be present in your life. But pay close attention. The last mark is the most surprising, and few people talk about it. And if you want to be one of the chosen, write in the comments, "I choose God and He chose me." Mark number 1, toxic people distance themselves from you. Have you ever noticed that some people simply can't stay around you? Maybe without an apparent reason, colleagues, acquaintances, or even family members distance themselves as if something about you bothers them. But what if this isn't a problem but a sign? The chosen ones carry a light that exposes the darkness. It's not something visible, but something that can be felt. People with bad intentions, envy, or deceit sense this, and they can't stand being around for too long. Jesus faced this all the time. The Pharisees hated him, not because he did something against them, but because his presence. XP expose their hypocrisy in John 8:44. He confronts them. You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. And this happens to you too. Toxic people feel uncomfortable even if you don't say anything. But listen, this doesn't mean you should change to please them. On the contrary, this distancing might be God's protection, keeping you away from relationships that would only hinder your journey. And there's more. Some of these people even try to hurt you before leaving. They speak badly about you. Twist. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now, let's begin your words and create conflicts you never sought. But remember, this isn't about you. It's about what you carry. Now think about it. Have you ever been in situations where negative people distance themselves from you without explanation? This could be strong evidence that you carry this mark. And if you have experienced this, write in the comments, God removes from me everything that doesn't come from Him. Mark number 2, you feel and perceive things before others. Has it ever happened that you felt something was wrong before anyone else noticed, or maybe you saw a truth that no one else could see? If this has happened to you, know that it's not just intuition, it's spiritual discernment. The chosen ones have a sensitivity that goes beyond the ordinary. They receive changes in the environment, recognize hidden intentions, and often know the answer before the question is even asked. But this comes at a price. They are often misunderstood. Joseph, son of Jacob, lived this firsthand. God gave him dreams and visions about the future, but when he shared these revelations, he was ridiculed and rejected by his own brothers. In Genesis 37:19, they said, "Here comes that dreamer. Let's kill him and see what comes of his dreams." Many chosen ones go through this. They are called dramatic, paranoid, or even arrogant, when in reality, they are simply seeing beyond what others can comprehend. The world walks in darkness, but those with discernment walk in light and avoid traps. And here's the most curious part. The chosen ones don't always know how to explain this perception. They just know it's like an invisible alert that protects them from traps, deception, and bad decisions. Have you ever experienced situations where you sensed something before others? Have you ever tried to warn someone and they didn't believe you? This could be a strong sign that you carry this mark. If you're ready to claim your silent confidence, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Claim my space below. Let's continue this journey together. Now let's begin, but this doesn't stop here. The next mark may explain why so many people react to you in a way you've never understood, and believe me, this reaction can happen, even if you don't say a single word. Mark number 3, you attract conflicts without provoking them. Have you ever noticed that, even without trying, some people seem to create problems with you as if your presence bothers them even when you do nothing? This happens because the chosen ones carry a truth that confronts. Their essence disturbs those who live in lies. It's not that you seek conflict, but your life, your words, and even your silence. Challenge those who don't want to change. This is exactly what happened with Daniel. He did nothing against the rulers of Babylon, but his integrity was a problem for them. He refused to be corrupted, and for that he was thrown into the lion's den in Daniel 6:4. It is written that his enemies could find no corruption in him because he was trustworthy. The problem was never Daniel. The problem was what he represented. This could be happening to you. Maybe you have already faced envy, persecution, or criticism without explanation. People try to discredit you, twist your words, and even place obstacles in your way. But understand, this is not about you. It's about what you carry. So how should you deal with this? The answer lies in how you react. Daniel didn't fight back, didn't try to justify himself or combat his enemies with the same weapons. He remained faithful and let God fight for him. If you are facing persecution, don't waste your time trying to convince those who have already decided not to listen to you. Just stand firm and trust that God will justify you at the right time. Now pay close attention the next. Mark will reveal why you have never been able to fully fit in and what that really means. Mark number 4, you never fully fit in. Since childhood, have you ever felt different, as if you didn't belong to certain groups, places, or even religious environments? The chosen ones carry a strange feeling. They can be surrounded by people yet still feel out of place. This happens because this world was never their final destination. Philippians 3:20 says, "But our citizenship is in heaven." This means that as long as we are here, there will always be a voice void that nothing in this world can fill. Look at Moses, raised as a prince in Egypt. He had everything a person could desire: status, power, and wealth. But even so, he never fit in there. He knew there was something greater for his life. Hebrews says that he chose to suffer with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. If you feel like you never fully fit in, maybe God is showing you something greater. But here's the thing, this feeling shouldn't isolate you but prepare you. The chosen ones are not called to hide, but to influence your place is not just anywhere, it's where God wants you to be. And here's a challenge. Look back and see how many times God has taken you out of situations, groups, or places that were not meant for you. Do you think this was a coincidence, or could it be that he was preparing you for something greater? So if you feel like you don't belong to this world, write in the comments, "My home is not here. I belong to the kingdom of God." Mark number 5. Children and animals sense something special in you. Have you ever noticed that children or animals react differently when they are near you? Maybe a baby stares at you intently or smiles at you for no apparent reason, or an animal that usually avoids strangers approaches you with confidence. This could be more than just a coincidence. It could be a sign the chosen ones carry a different presence, something that cannot be seen but can be felt. Children in their purity perceive this presence. Jesus himself said in Matthew 19:14, "Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these animals also have a sensitivity that goes beyond the natural they perceive, intentions, energies, and even dangers." Before any human notices in the Bible, we see a curious example of this. The story of Balaam's donkey in Alam was travelling down a path where an angel of the Lord was ready to stop him. He saw nothing, but his donkey perceived it and tried to avoid the danger. This shows that there are things animals can sense before we do. Now think about it if innocent eyes can perceive something special in you. What does that say about your mission? Could it be that you carry God's presence so that others may feel it without you needing to say a single word? And here's a challenge. Let your presence speak louder than any speech. May people feel peace when you arrive and sense something different, even if they can't explain why. Mark number 6. God speaks to you through dreams and signs. There are moments when life seems to follow a normal course until something happens that makes you question, was that just a coincidence, or was it a sign from God? You see repeating numbers, receive unexpected messages, or dream of something that days later becomes reality. This happens because the chosen ones live guided, not lost. Since biblical times, God has used dreams and signs to communicate with those he has chosen. Joseph, son of Jacob, received dreams, revealing the future. The prophet Daniel had visions that changed history in Matthew 2. God spoke to the wise men through a dream, warning them not to return to Herod. God always finds a way to speak, but not everyone pays attention, and signs don't always come in a supernatural way. Sometimes God speaks through people, circumstances, and even small everyday details, a closed door, an unexpected meeting, a Bible verse that appears at the exact moment. All of this can be a divine answer. But the problem is that many people ignore these signs or try to explain them away as mere coincidences. But if God is showing you something repeatedly, maybe he is trying to prepare you for something greater. So next time something unusual happens before, or calling it a coincidence, ask, "Lord, is this from you? What do you want to show me?" Because most of the time, the answer is already around. You just need to open your eyes. Mark number 7. When you pray, things happen now. We come to the most powerful mark of all. If there is one thing that truly distinguishes the chosen ones, it is this: their prayers are not just words. They change realities. Some people pray and nothing changes. But there are others who, when they pray, the atmosphere around them shifts. The chosen ones don't just talk to God, they have a direct connection with heaven. Elijah prayed and it did not rain for 3 years. Then he prayed again and the rain returned. Peter prayed and a paralyzed man got up. Paul and Silas, imprisoned in chains, began to pray and praise, and the prison doors opened by themselves. This happens because the prayer of the chosen ones is not an empty repetition, but a powerful cry. When a chosen one prays, he doesn't just ask, he declares, he trusts, he aligns himself with God's will. And when that happens, things begin to move. And here's something even deeper. The chosen ones don't need grand speeches to be heard by God. The power of prayer is not in fancy words, but in the faith of the one who prays. A whisper said in faith is worth more than 1,000 words without conviction. If you've ever had moments when you clearly felt that God answered your prayer, know that it wasn't luck or chance. It was a sign that he hears you, that your voice carries weight in the spiritual realm. Now, a reminder, if your prayer has power, your responsibility is also great. How have you used this connection to seek only your desires or to bring transformation around you? Think about that. Now reflect if you've made it this far. You've already realized that the chosen ones are not like everyone else. They carry marks that are not always easy to understand or to bear, but each of these characteristics reveals something powerful. God has a purpose for those he calls. Maybe throughout this video, you've identified with some of these marks, maybe with all of them. And if that's the case, don't ignore what God is showing you. These marks are not a burden. They're a sign that you have been set apart for something greater. But now comes the most important question: what are you going to do about it? Recognizing the signs means nothing if you don't act. If God has chosen you, he expects something from you. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to Philosophy of Stoicism for more real, relatable advice on navigating the complexities of love and relationships. Remember, relationships take time, care, and effort, but the rewards are worth it. When fear and caution are met with understanding and patience, they transform into trust and connection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.